2, 1, 0.
Industry in Turkey. Talk with Yves Hilpisch about algorithms and AI and get to know popular bot builder Aga Technologies. My name is Koen Schobbers and this is Bots TV. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Bots TV, live from the headquarters of Bots in the Netherlands in Haarlem. Now, before we start, I'd like to mention that everything we talk about in today's episode is not financial advice. Make sure to always do your own research. Herbert, have you here once again? How are you doing this week?
Fine. I've been watching Bitcoin climbing, and today I'm looking forward to the Bots League segment with interesting stuff happening in the standings.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about the Bots League at the end of today's episode.
That's right.
But first, we're going to talk about Bots News. Now, this is the schedule of today, and after Bots News, we're going to talk to Hüseyin Ilgun. He's a project support manager at the Istanbul University and an investor in stocks and crypto in the Bots Around the World section. Then we will talk with Yves Hilpisch. He is the CEO of the Python Quants and the AI Machine, knows a lot about algorithms and artificial intelligence. Then we will talk with Mark Offerman. He's also known as Aga Capital in Bots the Builder. And finally, we will invite Arthur to join us once again at today's episode to talk about Bots League and Bots users. But let's start with very interesting news of the past week in the Bots News section. Yes, just setting up my Twitter. Now, last week, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey created a storm in the NFT market by selling his first ever tweet, which was just setting up my Twitter as a non-fungible token. Now, those are digital collectibles. So far, Dorsey's tweet has received the highest bid of $2.5 million US. Now, in case you have 2.5 million or more laying around, you can still buy his tweet because the auction will finally conclude on March 21st. So you still have a couple of days. Now, Dorsey said he will immediately convert the funds to Bitcoin and also donate to charity. Bitcoin takes off with Coinbase. Shares of major crypto exchange Coinbase changed hands at a roughly $90 billion US value last week, according to a recent report from Bloomberg. It's an astounding valuation given that the company was appraised at $8 billion in October 2018, which basically means that in 3 years' time, the business basically grew by $82 billion US worth. Now, the valuation is based on $350 a share, and the price of the stock was trading on the Nasdaq private market on Thursday. Copper or painted rocks. Very interesting news item coming up because commodity trader Mercuria Energy Group Limited struck a deal last summer to buy 36 million US dollars, of copper from a Turkish supplier. Now, the Swiss trading house says it's been victim of cargo fraud. Before its journey from a port near Istanbul to China even began, about 6,000 tons of blister copper in more than 300 containers were switched with paving stones, spray painted to resemble the semi-refinal metal, which I think is very interesting because these are, of course, it's the same with gold. You know, if you want to move it from A to B, it doesn't go through the internet. You actually have to do it in real life by trucks and cargo and that sort of stuff. Now, fourth news item then, South Korea works on national digital currency. Now, that's something we've heard in the past couple of weeks during the different episodes we had, that countries are looking for national digital currencies. Now, the major South Korean commercial bank, Shinhan Bank, is looking to collaborate with the country's central bank on developing a national digital currency. Shinhan Bank has developed a blockchain-based platform for a central bank digital currency, also called CBDC. And then finally, 40% of Goldman Sachs clients are into crypto. A recent client survey by Goldman Sachs found that 40% of clients have exposure to cryptocurrencies. Now, 54% of the respondents predict the price of Bitcoin will be between 40K and 100K in 12 months. Now, we're already in between those numbers. It's currency trading at around 56,000 US dollars. Herbert, Goldman Sachs, 40% of the clients are in crypto, but Goldman Sachs was late to the party, which is quite surprising.
Yeah, they needed to ask their clients about this. Hey, what are you doing in Bitcoin? Turns out 40% of their clients are already experimenting with Bitcoin without their bank knowing. So that tells me Goldman Sachs haven't been paying attention, and they ought to do more in this field. They have just reopened their cryptocurrency desk. And they'd better start working on this very quickly or they'll be behind.
Yeah, and the same accounts, like Goldman Sachs was a little bit late to the party, considering this, knowing about their clients and the portfolio the clients has. However, on the other side, we have the NFTs. And it's a hype. Like you see many, many famous people selling and buying non-fungible tokens. And we're talking about a tweet, selling a tweet. Yeah. But you have something special as well.
Yes, because the story goes, Jack Dorsey is selling his first tweet as if he's selling the original tweet, which isn't true because the tweet that he placed on Twitter is still there. It's a different company now selling a tokenized, digitally, cryptographically signed copy of his tweet. And that's very much like this. Here you have my tweet. It's a copy on paper with a signature on paper, but it's still a copy and it's signed. So it's very much like what Jack Dorsey is selling. If you would like to buy this, or if anybody else would like to buy this, I'll be happy to receive $2.5 million.
You didn't have any offers yet. So in case you would like to buy the first tweet of Herbert, feel free to write something in the chat and I'm sure he will sell it to you. Now, what does the tweet say, right? His first tweet was posted on the 29th of April 2007. So that's a lot of years ago, many years ago. And the tweet was just working.
I was.
A couple of hours later, damn, still working. That was your second tweet.
Sad, isn't it?
And then the third tweet came in July, so a couple of months after, setting up Twitter Mail.
That was a service you could place a tweet by sending a mail. That was for people who were experienced in mail, but not in Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. So in case you're interested, I'm not actually sure if we can they buy your tweet if you
if anybody wants to, feel free. You're welcome.
Yeah, you want to have a tweet, right, from one of the best hosts, like obviously. But it's an interesting topic.
And going to increase in price, right?
Yeah, but we're not only talking about tweets that are being sold as NFTs, because there's many more different items, right?
Yes, artworks and items from games, for instance. You see, non-fungible tokens are things that have an identity. One Bitcoin is very much like the other. You can exchange them. There's no difference. But non-fungible tokens have an own identity, and one is unique and another one is unique as well in its own right.
Yeah, so they're very rare, very limited, basically.
Yes.
There's only one of a kind.
N equals 1.
Yeah, and therefore that might be the reason they are trading against high prices.
Yes, well, if they're interesting enough, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we at least have a very interesting episode ahead of us. This was Bots News, but now we're going to talk in Bots Around the World to Hüseyin Ulgan. Now, as mentioned, he is project support manager at the Istanbul University, and he is an investor in stocks and in crypto. Let's talk to Hüseyin.
Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Hüseyin, how are you doing? Glad to have you in today's show.
Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, Herbert and Koen.
Great. Well, good to have you in the show. Thank you for taking the time to join us in today's episode. How are you doing, first of all?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm good. How about you?
We are doing very, very well. We even got your flag, or your country's flag, I should say. I'll put it on the table, right? So Turkey, the upcoming couple of minutes is all going to be about Turkey and, of course, about you. Now, talking about Turkey, it's a very interesting situation where the government is very open to crypto recently. Could you elaborate a little bit more about the situation in Turkey?
Government actually is like, they just mentioned like a couple of weeks ago about cryptocurrency. They're working on regulations now. Not ready yet, but it'll be ready like at the second. They say that it'll be ready in second half of 2021.
Okay, and was crypto illegal before? Can you explain?
Oh, it's not illegal. It's legal actually, and there's some platforms in like Turkish platforms and also like Chinese platforms. Like Binance is so popular in Turkey, so it's not illegal.
So what will change with the new regulations?
I guess like they will do like taxation. Also, like there's no tax yet in Turkey, and there's no regulations. So taxation will be, and also like digital Turkish lira will be another thing for regulations.
All right. So how popular is crypto in Turkey right now?
It's surprisingly crazy popular. It's like the numbers says like it's not like I don't know. It's like depends based on the platforms, but it's like 3 million people having cryptocurrencies. The users says the registration says the platforms.
And why do people in Turkey think crypto is interesting at all?
It's a good question. I think it's how to say, like a high returns. Also, it makes interesting. I mean, also like people have like social media is also another reason people are having cryptocurrencies, because like mostly the young generation, like young people are like tech savvy and like they use social media, and like they mostly have interest to new investment. So it's like a technology based thing. So it's kind of interesting and motivating people to have cryptocurrencies.
And do you also think that maybe the inflation rate of currencies in general across the world might also play a role in Turkey?
Yeah, it's also another role, because like having Turkish lira is like a kind of like losing money because of inflation rates high in Turkey now. Also, like it was a forex was another thing in Turkey, but now it's the leverage is not like after the regulations about forex, leverage is not available in Turkey. So it's the cryptocurrency has leverage also. So it's another exciting thing. Exciting.
And is it easy for people to buy crypto in Turkey now?
Yeah, it's really easy, and like it's like in a second you can buy and you can sell, like trade on platforms.
Yeah, you just mentioned earlier in our conversation something about Binance as well. Binance, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, platform out there to trade cryptocurrencies. Are these type of platforms advertising a lot in your country as well to try to get as many people to their platforms?
Sure, like two different enterprise have like Turkish ones, like BTC Turk is another big one. Also, Paribu is another one. Like the three platforms are so popular in Turkey now.
And suppose you have crypto, can you do anything with it? Can you pay, for instance? Can you pay any goods with it?
Yes, actually, it's possible now for some. I mean, I was researching also like last couple of months ago about it. Like, can I like buy something with cryptocurrencies? It's available, but I don't think I can do it because like it's it's like the numbers like getting crazy now. So I don't want to. I mean, I wouldn't like spend money. I mean, cryptocurrency for buying something.
Yeah, you're looking into the long-term value, of course. If you pay something now with Bitcoin, your one payment of a pizza nowadays might be a very expensive one in a couple of years' time. Now, for the viewers, if you have any questions, of course, for Hüseyin, make sure to write them in the chat and we will ask them for you. Now, the situation in Turkey, I believe is very interesting with the government changing minds towards cryptocurrency. What do you think is the future of crypto in Turkey?
I guess it'll be more popular, but maybe if they put like high tax rates, will be like maybe people would like lose their interests. It happened in forex actually. Like it was so popular here, like too many companies we had. Like you can invest on forex, but now there's no any companies because like people lost their interest. Because of regulations, it's like there's no, as I told you, there's no leverage. Also, like there's no point if there's no like leverage. I mean, on being on investment on forex. So if they like do the same for cryptocurrency, maybe people would lose. And also, they talk about like rates would be like 20%, income rates. Also, they talk about transaction tax also. So if it's like, the rates would high, then people would lose their interest.
Yeah. Here's my closing question, Hussein. What will be the price of Bitcoin by the end of this year?
My prediction is like over $100,000. It's like 1,000, maybe 1,600. 116.
160,000.
Yeah, that's like a maybe exact number, but I was like more or less. I was thinking that could be possible.
We love exact numbers, so thank you for providing us with an exact number. We have a big sheet with everyone's predictions from the guests we had in the different shows, so we will gladly add your exact number in there, because I believe you're the first one that gives us an exact number, so that's great. Thank you. Hussein, thank you again for taking time to join us in today's show and explain us more about the current situation of cryptocurrencies in Turkey. I hope the taxes will be okay, so people are still able and have fun in investing in crypto for the future as well.
I hope so too, and also I can't wait to have your bots in Turkey, available in Turkey.
Yeah, talking about, so you actually wanted to help bots in Turkey, right?
Actually, yeah. I'm interested because I have some friends they're working on that, but the bots is only available just practicing testing that it's only available for Bitcoin and dollars. That's all. So it would be better. Some other investors, maybe some other developers also would be helpful.
Well, we will definitely stay in touch, especially when you're going to help bots in Turkey as well. So looking forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, talking with Hussein, knowing more about the crypto industry in Turkey. The Turkish flag as well. Now, later during today's episode, we are going to talk about the Bots League and more about bots as a business, and the user questions will be answered. But again, more about that at the end of today's episode. And we have these great sheets as well. It's a paper, but there's a lot of information here about the bots in the Bots League, which we're going to talk about later in today's episode, because the Bots League is on fire right now the past couple of weeks, and some bots are giving crazy results, but more about that later, because now we're going to talk with our special guest. His name is Yves Hilpisch. He is the CEO of the Python Quants and the AI Machine. He has written several books about algorithms, algorithmic trading, I should say specifically, and artificial intelligence, and he also helps students and companies in building algorithms. We're going to Bots' special guest talking with Yves. Yes, welcome Yves. Thank you for taking time to join the show, Bots TV.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. And you're doing so much in this industry, and you have such a great opinion about the industry as well, which we're definitely going to talk about in today's episode. Now, first of all, you're very active in the industry with the different roles you have. Could you elaborate a little bit more about your daily life and your opinion about cryptocurrencies in general?
Yeah, well, I'm doing quite a lot, but it's all centered around the same topic. So it's Python on the programming side, and finance, obviously, on the topical side, and the domain expertise that we have. We run our company, the Python Quants, which focuses on education services. We also have the company which is called the AI Machine, where we have built a easy deployment platform for algorithmic trading strategies. And yeah, I'm writing books, I'm teaching, I'm adjunct professor of computational finance. But again, the core is the same throughout. So we focus on basically Python, AI more and more these days for finance and trading.
Amazing.
Okay. So what in a nutshell would be your opinion on crypto?
Yeah, well, I have been first in touch or learned about it 2011. So sometimes I regret that I haven't been more involved in the whole story.
Haven't we
so
all?
Actually, for me as an economist, trained economist, and I actually studied back at the university monetary theory. So I don't see Bitcoin, for example, as a currency from my point of view, because it simply doesn't satisfy the typical characteristics that you would see for a currency. I'm positive on the tech side. I see many interesting things developing there, but I can't really understand, to be honest, the hype around Bitcoin and the recent rise in the price again. So that's my short take on that.
I understand that, but on the other hand, people and companies are buying it as an asset. Use of crypto, of Bitcoin in particular, as a means of payment is increasing. So isn't your opinion on this increasing as well? Changing as well?
Yeah, I mean, as a means of payment, I doubt that. So I can't see any future where we go to the grocery stores and we see prices in Bitcoin. It's way too volatile for that. Actually,
PayPal and MasterCard are creating those possibilities, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, in the crypto space in general. But maybe I'm a little bit too narrowly focused on Bitcoin at this stage. Yeah. But you have mentioned Bitcoin as an asset, also as an asset class. I think it has, I would say, some issues. So if you want to use it, for example, as a big company, as collateral, if you want to get some financing, I doubt that the banks would be happy to take this as collateral. For me, this is kind of like a litmus test with regard to how stable and valuable assets are. So maybe I'm a little bit of the critic here in the round, but this is how I see it as a trained economist and being active in the field.
And like there's a very good argument for that as well. Besides the fact that many people see Bitcoin as, for example, gold. Like an asset, something that appreciates in time, digital gold basically, but it's very volatile at the moment. What's your opinion on the extreme, actually, volatile market of the crypto industry in these still pretty young years, let's say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every time when the big players are jumping board, right, the big banks now providing services, investment banks are being founded who are focused on the field. When you have the big companies, MicroStrategy or Tesla, that are now investing billions and billions, this leads to volatility, right? And we have seen hypes and high spikes in volatility with regard to single instruments. Just think of the GameStop story. And for Bitcoin, it's the same thing. So there is no real model that says, well, that's a fair value, it's a fundamental value, intrinsic value, whatever the economic idea is that you want to use. So volatility to me is kind of natural. But,
just look at Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin and GME.
But wouldn't you say when more people, more companies get into the Bitcoin game, that the market cap will rise and volatility will decrease automatically?
Yeah, it could be. But again, if you have the big market movers there, right, so that they invest suddenly like 1 billion, 2 billion, people move, lots of funds in and out, this simply leads to volatility. I mean, we see volatility in large other asset classes as well. Now we have reached a point, I would say, when I'm thinking back in the beginning when we were starting analyzing it, we had some 10 billion overall in crypto. Now Bitcoin alone has like 1 trillion. So we have come a long way. Probably this is about to be stabilized, right? But I mean, we have other issues as well. The regard to mining, right? The proof of work topic where many people are commenting about like the gates, with regard to like getting it somehow greener, but I think this is some built-in feature. But again, I can agree to some extent that we would see probably more calmer times with regard to.
Now, of course, this is the industry, like the cryptocurrency industry. But on the other hand, you're helping students and companies with building their own algorithms as well. Can you talk a little bit more about what kind of algorithms those are?
Absolutely. So first of all, what we teach are the major skills in Python that you need, and Python and beyond, I would say, like with regard to setting up cloud servers, using Linux tools, etc., doing a proper deployment in the cloud. That is one part, but Python is at the core, right? For financial data science, for Python for algorithmic trading, where we teach different strategies, but the focus is on Python. So no investment advice. We don't say this is like a good strategy. This is about skills, about learning to program, right? And there we cover the basics, but also this is, I think, our major expertise. There is at the core of what we do are artificial intelligence-based algorithms, be it reinforcement learning, deep reinforcement learning, general deep learning, recurrent neural networks that we use to predict the markets. And this is what we teach our delegates in the programs to come up with their own ideas, to thoroughly backtest them, and then to deploy them, right? This is like the major missing piece that we had for a long time in the industry, like with the likes of Quantopian, they allowed for proper backtesting, but there was no venue actually to deploy the algorithms. That this is where we have the focus on. And this also the story with the AI machine where we said, well, we solved the last mile problem with regard to because you can have an algorithm that's 200 lines of Python code, but you need 20,000 lines to properly deploy it, right? That's a completely different skill.
Amazing. It's great. It's a great skill to have in today's world.
Absolutely. And retail trader can do it these days. So everything is available at relatively low cost, barriers of entry are low, and the professionals need it as well, right? So when you look at the hedge fund these days, basically the same skills, maybe a little bit more specialized, but you need it all over the place in the finance industry.
Wrapping up now, considering you're skeptical about Bitcoin, would you even have a prediction for its value by the end of 2021?
Actually not. I have never been in the forecasting industry. My background is in quantitative finance, derivatives. And when we do Monte Carlo simulations, we allow for a large range. So to be honest, I'm on the opposite end. I would say I wouldn't be surprised when we see a price at the end of the year of 100,000. I neither would be surprised when we see something below 10,000, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the volatility of the market right now. Maybe Absolutely. A final question, but of course you have a very big network. Would you recommend anyone as our next guest in the next episode in 2 weeks' time?
Oh, if I would have had a thought, maybe maybe later on. So I don't want to and afterwards say, well, how could you mention me?
Yeah.
Right?
We will make sure that
offline we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. George will talk about you. Well, Yves, thank you for joining us in today's episode. It was great speaking to you and hearing your opinion about the industry as well as about what you're doing and helping this industry move forward. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Great. So, Bots special guest, Yves Hilpisch, again, CEO of the Python Quants and the AI Machine. He wrote several books, and I'm sure that if you would look for his name online, you will find a lot of information. Now, in the next section, we will talk with one of the best known bot builders in the Bots app, Aga Capital. However, Aga Capital, of course, has a real live name. Mark, welcome. Mark Offerman,
thank you, guys.
CEO of Aga Capital. Great you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us in Haarlem as well.
Yeah.
It's great, and I say it every time. It's great to actually see the bot builders in real life.
Yeah.
Because in the app, you have the name. In Discord, you have Aga Capital or Aga Technologies. But now you're sitting here. So how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you guys. Thanks for the invite.
It's sort of reassuring to find that bots aren't made by bots, okay?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly. And the bots are not made by me. I'm not the star in this picture. It is sort of like really the team of our quants. Those guys are the ones that really make this this thing.
People making the bots for you.
Yeah, like what we are in essence we are an algorithm company. So we build trading algorithms and we build trade optimization systems for those algos. You call them bots, but it's just a lot of heavy mathematics and statistics. So our team is full of guys that do computer science and mathematics and physics backgrounds, basically.
How many bots have you made so far?
I'm not sure. We made a lot of them, and most of them all end up in the bin because they don't meet our benchmarks. They're just too risky, or they don't make enough money. It's really hard to produce bots that that perform.
And I'm curious, with the best bots that you develop with the business, do you share those bots, or does one keep the bots for the business itself?
Good question. Really so a lot of the bots that we produce do we trade ourselves. And the best bots we sell to asset managers or keep them internally. And now for this platform, we've developed a certain type of algorithm that doesn't trade too often, but still has enough exposure to perform in this bull market and also manage risk.
So how do you make sure an algorithm performs well?
It's a lot of testing. It's a lot of back testing.
Like simulations.
Yeah. So what we do is once we have an idea and we think, okay, this is a pattern that we see in the market. What returns then we just throw a lot of data to it, historical data, different types of markets, bull markets, bear markets, and it has to perform within our benchmarks. So it shouldn't lose too much money. It should make enough that it's actually worthwhile to.
How do you or how do your people make up algorithms? Is that sort of like try something random, or start with an idea? Have your inspiration from somewhere? How does that work?
Yeah, so there are different angles in that. Sometimes it's something very simple that we see in other markets that we can just copy this core idea. Sometimes it's something completely new. There are so many new techniques that we can use now in statistics and machine learning that offer kind of all these opportunities to make these
now, of
algorithms.
course, the bots itself are created with algorithms and like very smart people working on those algorithms. However, the names are...
Yeah, you're always interested in these names.
Story there.
We could talk about that. Yeah, so
you don't have to talk a lot about it, but it's just very interesting to how do you, because it is like all the bot builders come up with names for their bots, and there's always a story behind the names of bots as well as with the bots you
own. So for us, it's basically the one that makes the algorithm and that does the whole backtesting thing and puts in all this hard work and sweat and and anger and whatever they put into it. If it finally meets our benchmarks and it finally is something that we can trade with, and we trade with it ourselves first with some money, and if it still performs, then they can name their bot. And for the bots that we have on the platform now, they can be ex-girlfriends or they are future wives. It's up to the guys that make these
or
these
people you look
bots.
up to, right?
Yeah, for example. Yeah. So it's up to the team basically to name it.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Usually girls' names, right?
Yeah, they're all girls now. So maybe this changes soon, but for now it's all girls.
It like the moment people see a bot with a girlish name, you immediately know that's Aga technology. Hey, we got a question from one of our viewers. Thank you for writing a question in the chat. And the question is, what kind of new bots are coming and how are they different from your current bots that are available?
Yeah. Good question. We see that on the platform now that a lot of the appetite for risk and return it's very high, so we try to develop algorithms in this kind of sphere, but now we also hear that there's certain assets that people really like, or groups of assets that people really like. So we try to make some variations in what we know what works for the platform, and then we extend from there. So the first couple of bots, I'm not sure if we can already say this or that, but they will be themed around certain assets probably. But more about that probably next week. Next week we can have more to share.
Yeah, we will find out very soon as well. And one of the recent bots, Supernova, is doing very well as well. Most of the bots of Aga Technologies are full. However, we do have an interesting final question as always.
What will you? What do you think Bitcoin will do by the end of this year?
I expected this question. Yeah, sure. But my answer to this is is to everybody. People ask me this every day. I really don't know what the question, what the price is going to be. I hope it's going to be something like what I see on the board. And if I have to say something, I would almost say we take an average of everything that's there, because I would like that. If the Bitcoin is going to be there,
around 80k.
80k. I'm down for 80k. That's definitely. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, cool. Thank you for your prediction and also explaining a little bit more about Ega Technologies. Again, one of the most popular bot builders in the app as well.
Yes.
Many people talk to you as well on Discord. Very easy to reach out to you as well and getting answers.
Definitely, yeah. And next week, we'll probably also share some news on Discord about the stuff that we're working on. We also got some cool merch coming up. So, next week on Discord, we'll...
where can people find you?
Currently only on the internet, and Discord is the easiest. But as I say, the website will be online next week. And then,
is it Aga Technologies, Aga Capital?
Aga.tech, probably.
Okay.
So...
good to remember. Well, Mark, thank you for joining us in today's episode of Bots TV. Appreciate it. Again, great to see you in real life.
Yeah, thanks.
And thanks for explaining a little bit more about the business behind the name. So, Aga Technologies or Mark Offerman in today Bots the Builder. Now, we will continue with the Bots League, and we have a lot to talk about in the Bots League section. We will, however, not only talk with each other, like Herbert and me. However, we're also going to talk with Arthur about the Bots League. And you have seen Arthur, if you've seen past episode, you've seen Arthur multiple times because he is the expert when it comes down to the bots and the Bots League. Yeah, so Arthur joined us here in the Bots TV studio. Arthur, how are you doing?
Very, very, very good. For the certificate holders, they know why. But do
you want to at least say a little bit about why?
Well, it's going good with the bot creators. I'll stick to that because we give the certificate holders a little bit of a sneak peek. But it's going very well.
There's some news coming.
Yeah,
let's say
good stuff happening.
Yeah, and talking about the Bots League specifically, how is the Bots League doing? Are you as positive about the league as now in general?
Yes, I am. It's very nice. Like we're a little bit longer into the league now, so you see some more interesting results happening. That like initially in the first snapshot, you get like a little bit of an idea. There was one really strong outlier, and the rest was relatively flat. Now that we're moving a little bit more and spend some more time in actual trades, you could see much more the difference between the contestants. So that's also very nice.
So you have no paper before you like we have, but can you tell us a bit more about who's doing well?
There you go.
And who's trailing behind?
Well, what's actually very funny, that's one of the bots made it to -48. So as you probably remember from the first time we talked about the league, I was a little bit hoping this would happen because it really demonstrates the importance of all the testing and requirements and the quarantine that we do, and like the slow rollouts, that we don't immediately let everybody open the floodgates and pour your money into the bots. We do this slowly to protect...
to test the bots, right?
Yeah, of course, because like you're going to test something and the bot creators, they run back tests, which is all very interesting. And we do the quarantine, which is very important. But the proof is always in the pudding in the real live environment. How does that... how does your bot deal with new market data that you haven't been able to test yet?
Exactly.
So who does well?
Well, it's actually a very interesting mix because for the top 6 positions we have only one that's repeated. So that's actually very interesting that it varies quite a bit, but also the percentage is quite different because the leader is still at 118%, but the second is at 62%.
That's half, yeah.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. But also keep in mind that bots that are in the league right now, they're not necessarily tweaked for being risk averse. So where you might, this also creates a little bit more of the outliers that you also see is quite negative returns. That's caused by the fact that you're just going for the highest profit you possibly can.
I believe we do have a graphic maybe of the results of last week, which we can compare with the results of this week. So we see Hot BB King loves BTC on the first spot, followed by Hot Mama and Horsepower on the second and third spot respectively. Now, Herbert, what's the current standing?
The current standing is Team to the Moon. Hot BB King is in first place. 118%. Am I looking at the wrong?
Oh wait, these are the even newer than the papers we have. So here, 12/3/2021. These are the newest updates. So Hot BB King lost BTC still on the first place, Herbert, with over 100%.
Yes, and I've been looking at teams as well.
Yeah.
Because there is a team in second place that's doing very well. That's Trademasters, but they have a big team, and they also have a couple way down below.
Yeah, they're spread all over the place. That's
right.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the team that has fourth place, that's Ed by DemaTrading.ai, they only have a couple bots. And the worst performing bot of that team is somewhere halfway the rankings. So as a team, they're performing a lot better with an average performance of 17.5%. Whereas the Trademasters team, the big one with bots down below in the standings as well, has an average performance of only 5%.
So we could basically say, Arthur, that Dema Trading, actually someone we had in the show as well, is having quality above quantity. So maybe not a lot of different bots, but at least quality bots that do very well with a very good percentage of wins.
Yeah. So I think it's quite clear also from these results that you can clearly see the difference that some bot creators for the league, they just put something online that is either extremely risky or you can take can get high returns but also high losses. And for instance, Ed by Demo Trading, Boosting Alpha, they just put online bots that they would otherwise want to put online anyway. Yeah, for the Boosting Alpha bots, obviously, most of them are already online. They're just competing in the competition to show what their mustard's made of.
Yeah, and we do have interesting question actually from the viewers. So thank you again for writing a question in the chat. For Arthur specifically, it's actually a couple of questions in one. How many bots are there in the league, first of all?
We have, from the final selection, we have 33 bots in the competition in total. And that's already filtered out all the like the extreme outliers.
The bots that basically are disqualified. Yeah. And how many teams are there?
I would have to count.
These are statistics, right? Statistics around.
I know this. There are 6 teams.
Oh, there we go.
6 teams. Yes, I
no, that seemed highly unlikely.
Why?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, we're a little bit over.
Maybe
right?
more.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe more. We don't have that statistic.
Would you say it's more or less?
More.
Keep an eye on social media, and you will find out hopefully very soon as well. Now, another one is that is there a way for people to follow the competition more closely and read some more background about the different teams as well?
Yeah. So we're currently we have on the website we have a bot league segment, but we're also going to be expanding that with a leaderboard to make it more interactive, so that you can see the entire leaderboard, who is competing at what ranking, so it's a clear cut for everybody to see.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least it shows that the league and the way the league is organized, it does already provide a little bit of insights on what is actually happening on the background.
Yeah.
Like it has the name Bots League, but you've been doing this already before the Bots League was there, because you are testing the bots for a couple of months' time before they will enter the public bots section, bots app.
Yeah, exactly, because the onboarding process isn't just that somebody opens up their app, generates a key and says, Arthur, put me online. That's not really how it happens. So we have quite an extensive process of testing, reviewing their test results and the quarantine results, and that all has to line up before they actually go online.
Yeah, well, very interesting. So the Bots League is up and running. You're very happy, not only because the Bots League is happy, but also because of the secret we will find out very soon. However, we will first continue to the Bots Users section of today's show, where we're going to answer user questions. So let's go. Yeah, you didn't see it, but Arthur wanted to escape here. He was like, I'm done, I'm out. But no. We have these questions for you as well. Now, there's different user questions. Actually, the first one, Arthur, is developments of the app itself. What improvements can people expect in the short term?
I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say, but we have some really cool things coming up that you'll be able to see in the next couple of weeks, and that's more in terms of like the presentation of the app. It's supposed to. The idea behind it is that it makes it a lot more user friendly to see how many, because we have a lot of bots. We have a lot more incoming, so that needs to be properly displayed.
People keep asking why are bots full now and then, and will that change?
Yes and no, because we'll be adding new bots, so those won't be full, hopefully, at least in the beginning. And most of the bots that are full are not going to become empty by us allowing more space. Because we put market caps on with a reason, and that reason is that if we allow, let's say, we allow a bot to trade 1 million euros or 2 million for the purpose, and they want to trade in a asset that is very illiquid. There's not a lot of people trading it, and you have to imagine it like a marketplace. There's 10 people all trying to trade 100 euros, and then we come in trying to wave around 1 or 2 millions. That's going to significantly either increase or decrease the price, which is what we don't want. So that's why we are very strict with the caps. And unfortunately, that does mean that sometimes you won't be able to put money in the bot, but that also protects your capital from unexpected drops. Because if you try to get out of a position that's too big and you're in panic and you're trying to sell that, not only can't you actually get the fill that you want, but it will force the asset you're trading to crash completely.
Yes, and that means that it won't help to enter a second bot that works the same way.
No,
because you have the same problem.
Yes, exactly. That's not it's not allowed to resubmit algorithms that exactly, because that's.
And how does a bot maker prove that a bot that he's introducing doesn't work like another one he already has on the market?
Well, it's actually the characteristics of the data is quite easy to read, because obviously we're collecting trading data as we go along, and if that syncs up at any point in time, that is very clear from this data. It's not something you can hide easily. Like, even if it's a little bit similar, then you know that there's the same principle behind it. At least it might have some variations on when it enters or how it does that, but that already is a red flag for us to see, okay, there's something happening that is extremely similar. Does this influence our liquidity, yes or no?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes a bot that was full yesterday isn't full anymore now. How does that come about?
So that comes about in two reasons. Every now and again, we increase the market caps. That has to do with the fact that when a bot initially goes online, it doesn't get the full market cap. We know how much we can put in the market, but first we want to see that the bot is working. It's working correctly. Are the signals going through correctly? Are the orders working? And only then are we going to increase that exposure step by step. Because rather, if you put a bot online with 100,000 and just slowly crawl it up to 1 million, that's a lot safer way to do it than for any bot. Like, we're going to have hundreds of bots. If we just say to everybody, here's €1 million, have fun with it, that's not going to end up well.
Now we do have to wrap up very soon. There is a question about what's the base coin of the current number one bot. However, I can answer that question as well, because the thing is, with Bitcoin rising very quickly, the Bitcoin base coin will be very attractive for many bots, of course. However, when Bitcoin is dumping, the bots that are having USDT as a base coin will perform a lot better. So keep an eye on the bots, and if they have BTC, ETH, BNB or whatever base coin, USDT is the safest, and very often those bots are the less risky bots as well. Now we do have an amazing tip, and the tip is from Pete. Now, who does not know Pete in the Discord community? If you are in Discord and you do not know Pete, you've been sleeping or living under a stone, because he is the one behind Bots Institute, and he provided us with an amazing tip. Now the tip is as follows. He said, well, one tip, that's what we asked him, and it's a tricky one. But yeah, that's why he built Bots Institute. If you don't know Bots Institute yet, I'm pretty sure you do if you're in Discord. If not, just Google on Bots Institute and read everything about bots. He provides a lot of education. Now, he says his number one tip would be that bots aren't meant to be traded. They do the trading for you. So give them a chance to do just that. A trading strategy needs time. Most bots use AI and machine learning algorithms. Only a few bots just follow the coin. You can also check Pete's Bots Institute for a purchase checklist, which comes in handy when you are new to the Bots app. Now, Bots Institute, again, amazing that Pete organized the platform and is writing a lot of news on the platform as well. You can find a lot of articles from Pete on Twitter, on the Bots Twitter as well, because Bots is tweeting different articles and comparing the bots with the coins itself and all sorts of stuff. Now, anyway, very interesting. Bots Institute, Pete, thank you for your tip. And Arthur, I believe it's a very valid tip, right? So don't do the trading yourself.
Definitely.
Let the bots trade.
Don't touch it. Just put it, turn it on, let it go.
Yeah, basically put money in the app and deinstall the app again and come back in a couple of months.
Exactly, that would be best.
That would be best. Well, Arthur, thank you for being in the show and taking time again. Hopefully see you next time once again when we're going to talk about progress of the Bots League. Hopefully by then we know the news of why you were so happy during today's episode as well.
I think we will.
So in less than 2 weeks, right? So
let's see.
Herbert, thank you for being part of the show as well.
You're welcome.
Again, see you in 2 weeks. And thank you for watching today's episode of Bots TV. Now make sure to follow us on social media. You can find us on any social media platform, really, Bots TV. Make also sure that if you're not yet in the Discord group, that you join the Discord group. And also for Pete, make sure to have a look at Bots Institute, because there is so much information about the app and the different bots. So thank you for watching today's episode of Bots TV, and see you in 2 weeks.